Top 9 green characters across DC and Marvel. In this video, we will explore the best green characters from Marvel Comics, Marvel Cinematic Universe, DC Comics, and the DC Extended Universe that have created a mark for themselves as some of the most interesting characters in their respective franchises. From Hulk's relentless smashing to Green Goblin's glider, from Poison Ivy's seduction to SheHulk's fierceness, we get to witness and experience a range of superpowers and what these characters stand for. But before we dive into our list, please consider subscribing to us. Let's begin, shall we? Number 1. Hulk. Dr. Bruce Banner was a scientist whose work was focused on the effects of gamma radiation on humans, but when one day he got exposed to the serum that he was working on, he unleashed a green monster, the Hulk. While Banner was all about brains and logic, Hulk was all about strength and using this strength to destroy anything in sight. Initially, whenever Banner transformed into the Hulk, it was under emotional or physical stress and would remain an unstoppable force, but he became more in control as his story progressed.
Smash.
Banner transforms into the Hulk during moments of anger, stress, and anxiety, and he can only go back to being himself in a state of calm. Later in the films, we see Natasha Romanoff is one of the only characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe who can help turn Hulk back to Banner. Over time, Hulk has come a long way, and the character is an essential part of the Avengers. Despite being a green monster on screen and in the comics, Hulk still possesses human emotion of some sort which we witness from time to time.
Really bad friend!
You bad friend!
And, if we go by MCU, Banner has managed to retain his mind even while being the Hulk.
I know, it's crazy. I'm wearing shirts now.
Yeah.
This is much on the lines of She-Hulk, another entry to our list. Number 2. Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is an alter ego who belongs to Dr. Pamela Isley, an eco-terrorist and one of the recurring enemies of Batman. She appears to have an obsession with plants, botany, and environmentalism and is keen on saving the planet from all man-made disasters. She uses her beauty and confidence to get anything she wants, often portrayed as a seductress in the DC universe. Ivy has no hesitation when it comes to killing anyone that gets in her way of her trying to protect the Earth. While her intention has always been good, her methods haven't. Poison Ivy also has a relationship with the beloved character Harley Quinn, and they have been known to be friends, partners in crimes, and sometimes even love interests. Ivy has an overdose of plant and animal toxins running through her bloodstream, which makes her touch deadly. Apart from that, she is also a skilled gymnast and incredibly intelligent, often combining all these skills for when she commits her crimes and tries to save the green and Mother Nature. Probably the best rendition of Poison Ivy was seen in the animated show Harley Quinn, where all the aspects of her life and her love-hate relationship with Harley were brought to the fore. Number 3. Green Goblin.
Hello, my dear.
The founder of Oscorp Technology, Norman Osborn, decides to experiment on himself with a chemical that leads to the creation of his alternate personality, opposite of Osborn and notoriously evil, the Green Goblin. He kills anyone and everyone that he wishes to, unbothered about the consequences as he goes on a rampage. He is best known for being Spider-Man's arch-nemesis and is obsessed with destroying him and anything that he cares about. Goblin wears a shiny green and purple suit, along with a mask, takes over Norman whenever he wishes to. One may say he serves as Norman's split personality, but in truth, the Green Goblin is much worse. He also possesses superhuman strength, durability, speed, agility, reflexes, and stamina. Despite having all these along with the ability to heal faster, the one thing that could kill the Goblin was his glider. Along with the Green Goblin armor, he also uses Pumpkin Bomb's razor bats, both great to destroy and slice up his enemies. Green Goblin's most recent appearance was in the last Spider-Man movie, where he is cured of this ailment and sent back to his universe. Number 4. She-Hulk. After a blood transfusion from her cousin, Bruce Banner, lawyer Jennifer Walters gains all the powers of the Hulk, turning her into She-Hulk. Along with the good also comes the bad, but that doesn't stop her on her journey and fight for justice. Jennifer is a powerhouse. With or without superhuman strength, she is extremely witty and strong, and there's nothing that she could do as the Hulk that she couldn't as Jennifer. However, unlike Bruce Banner, Jennifer retains most of her personality as the Hulk. She is in control of her emotions, intelligence, and her surroundings, but that doesn't exempt her from the sudden outbursts of anger. As Hulk and as Jennifer, she has experience in hand-to-hand combat and training in martial arts. She is a feisty, strong, and fiercely independent woman. In the Marvel Comics, She-Hulk has been a part of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Defenders, S.H.I.E.L.D., and the new She-Hulk TV series coming up in 2022. Fans can only anticipate how her journey will be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Number 5. Green Lantern. While there have been many Green Lanterns, we'd like to focus our attention on Ryan Reynolds' rendition of the DC superhero. Hal became Green Lantern when Abin Sur, a dying Green Lantern, appoints Hal as his heir because his power ring chose Hal. The pilot takes the oath, and when he does, that's when Hal's journey as the Green Lantern begins. Green Lantern also mastered hand-to-hand combat and mechanical engineering. His equipment and weapons include the Green Lantern Power Battery and the Green Lantern Ring. Despite a character this strong, the live-action film starring Ryan Reynolds did not do very well in the box office. In fact, the director admitted in an interview that he takes responsibility for the film not doing well, and he should have never made it, to begin with, because superhero films aren't his cup of tea. Nevertheless, the Green Lanterns that have been featured in animated shows such as Justice League have been accurately depicted as one of the founding members of the Justice League and one of Earth's Green Lanterns. Number 6. Gamora. Gamora was the adoptive daughter of Thanos, who posed as the biggest villain in Marvel's Phase 3. She was separated from her mother and her entire homeworld at a very young age when their entire population was wiped out. Gamora then grew up to be a fierce woman who is also a trained assassin and eventually turns against her adoptive father, Thanos, after 20 years of serving under him when the fate of the universe was at stake, eventually joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. She is also known for being the deadliest woman in the galaxy, and we often see her team members like Peter Quill fearing her, but at the same time, she protects those who she loves, and despite her tough exterior, Gamora has a lot of love to give and receive, which we witness across the films and comics. Despite constantly turning him down, she eventually falls in love with Peter Quill, making them one of the most beloved couples across the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Gamora also has an adoptive sister, Nebula, who receives harsher treatment from her father, but it's Gamora who saves her, eventually mending their relationship. Number 7. Martian Manhunter. One of the most powerful beings in the DC universe, Martian Manhunter was created by writer Joseph Samixon and designed by the artist Joe Certa. This character has appeared in the series Smallville, Supergirl, and some of the Arrowverse shows. He has been seen in the 2013 film Man of Steel, the 2016 film Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. John Johns, or the Martian Manhunter, is one of the most powerful telepaths on Earth. He is capable of reading the minds of all the living creatures of the Earth at once. He can create illusions, track people's locations, mind control people, amongst a plethora of things. As for his physical abilities, he can shapeshift, he can also fly, and much like other superheroes, he also possesses superhuman strength, which might just be the least interesting power in his arsenal. He also has enhanced Martian senses, including X-ray vision and projecting energy beams. In fact, Bruce Wayne mentions in one of his files that in many ways, Martian Manhunter is like an amalgam of Superman and the Dark Knight himself.
The Martian Manhunter.
Number 8. Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing is a humanoid elemental creature in the DC Comics, created by writer Len Wein and artist Bernie Wrightson. This character resembles a mound of vegetable matter, and his existence is all about protecting his swamp home and the environment in general. People have often compared this character to Poison Ivy, and although their goals might be similar and they belong to the same universe, they are very different from one another. Some of his powers include self-sustenance and superhuman strength, where he can nourish himself through photosynthesis and composting, given the fact that he is made out of vegetable matter. As for elemental control, he has full power over all plant life in existence and serves as the plant elemental for planet Earth. He also possesses chlorokinesis, where he can control the growth and form of plant life. Swamp Thing can also grow multiple versions of himself through biofission, which are all directly controlled by him. Most importantly, as long as there is any kind of plant life in existence, the Swamp Thing can continue to live, making him immortal, and the only thing he is vulnerable to is pollution. Interestingly, Marvel copied the idea and character of the Swamp Thing when they created Man-Thing. To know more about this underrated character, check out our video titled, How Marvel's Man-Thing Became Marvel's Ugliest R-Rated Slasher Villain and Horror Icon. We'll leave a link in the description. Number 9. Green Arrow. Green Arrow, or Oliver Queen, is a vigilante who uses a bow and arrow to fight street crimes and adopts socially liberal values. This DC character was originally created by Mort Weisinger and designed by George Papp. While Oliver might not have superhero strength or the ability to fly, he is best known and recognized for his archery. He has been naturally skilled in archery ever since he was a teenager, and has now mastered the technique where he can use anything from the most basic bow and arrows to the most complicated ones. This may lead many of us to draw parallels between him and Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, but that should be an oversimplification. Apart from archery, his other skills include acrobatics, driving, disguise, gadgetry, and hunting. While these are the more physical aspects of what he can do, there's plenty he can do with his smartness and personality, for instance, interrogation, intimidation, and investigation. Oliver is also a keen observer and has some admirable survival skills. Green Arrow appears in 8 seasons of the live-action TV show Arrow.
I think it's gratuitous, but whatever.
That was all in this video. Do hang around for more awesome content on everything that's movies, TV shows, and comics. Stay safe and have a good one.